Hi everyone. Okay, y'all, it's your girl Shantae here of Earthly and Ethereal, and I wanted to come through and talk to you guys. I'm trying to place my phone correctly here. Let me turn it around. I wanted to come and talk to you guys about something that actually is very personal in real life, happening or has happened, and has kind of just really sparked a interesting conversation in my head. And I wanted to come and just kind of talk to you guys about it because I feel like when things like this surface, it indicates that it's possibly an energy that is very much in alignment with what is happening amongst the collective, and it's not just something that's happening to me. So I feel like it's a masterful time to kind of be a little introspective and share that introspection in case someone may be able to benefit from it and be inspired by it, because this particular topic, y'all, that I'm going to get into, it's not easy to navigate if you're not in the right headspace, if you're not in the right emotional, if you're not centered in your emotions correctly. It can definitely get you out of yourself and become very reactive. And one of the things that I feel like it's important is, especially as a divine feminine being, is to understand that you have to be masterful with your emotions. When you take on a spiritual walk, what will happen is that things will occur that will test your growth. It will test your evolution. It will test where are you right now in this process. Where are you? And you have to be willing. It's not always going to be like an easy test. You have to be willing to really collect yourself, right? Watch your mouth, watch your response, watch your emotional response, because it's not just about this singular moment. So I just wanted to offer that perspective because, again, I feel like it's something that I had to remind myself of this weekend. And so I wanted to share that. But what I want to talk about today is how, and this message is specifically, as most of my transmissions, is specifically for the divine feminine. If you're a gentleman and you're here and you're listening, thank you. I do ask that you are not offended by any of this, because this is speaking to a very specific, very niche sector of the male species, and it is the insecure males. Um, and it's important to have this conversation, y'all, because there is an insidious thing that is occurring right now that's very quiet, very under the surface, but it's loud at the same time. It's loud, it's dark, and it's heavy. And I want to talk to my sisters today because I feel like we need a sense of encouragement. We need a sense of encouragement through this that brings us back to a space of understanding, right? Understanding the mission, sister. Okay. So in 2025, y'all, I feel like it can be a very dangerous thing being a divine feminine being, standing in your power with clarity and self worth. And you guys are going to hear me mention those two things a lot throughout this video because it's very important that it's when you are standing in your power with clarity, meaning your vision is crisp. You know who you are. You don't have to get any kind of remembrance. You know who you are and you know your self worth, right? And I feel like it's dangerous because even when you're just like minding your business, right? Just like I was this weekend, just like I was minding my business, living my life, pouring into myself, pouring into my loved ones, and just really trying to put my best foot forward, you can still become the aim for some insecure being who is looking for a place to send their venom and misplaced anger. And again, this is where we have to remember to be astute and to be an observant student and master your emotions. Everything, y'all, in this earth plane is a test. It is a test, okay? Um, but again, when you intentionally walk in clarity and self worth and you set standards for yourself and your life, it will disrupt the demons that lie dormant in people, especially male counterparts who are insecure in their existence, okay? Some of the ways that you can spot or you can see, the patterns of these parasitic beings, right, is when they have certain traits or they have certain defaults that they fall to. And I want to say this, like, I have such a desire to give a disclaimer right now that this video is not about bashing all men. But the reason why I'm not doing that is because I feel like it speaks for itself that this is not bashing all men. And when I am speaking, or when we as women are speaking of our experience, when it comes to very specific groups of men, I don't think it's necessary to really give that disclaimer, because the men who show up and are balanced and are living in cohesive unity with the Divine Feminine, I don't even need to sit here and tell you brothers anything. Y'all know who y'all are and y'all know what y'all do. We're talking to, again, or I'm speaking to a very specific, but also very important aspect of, the community. And it has to be called out because enough is enough. Again, when you are minding your business, living your life and just trying to put your best foot forward as a woman, and then you are attacked and insulted for nothing and out of nowhere. That has to stop, y'all. And these beings have to be called out by all of us, not just by the women. Just like the aspect of the divine feminine that is, or the feminine that is, toxic and, existing only from the root chakra, need to be called out by us. And there has to be a standard that we set. The same goes for the fellas. So I just wanted to say that. But again, getting back to the topic here. Some of the ways that you can spot the patterns of these beings is that they have a level of emotional immaturity, right? And that's because when people lack the tools to handle rejection, accountability, or deep emotions, what do they normally do? They will lash out. Instead of self-reflecting, they project. They try to tear you down to feel a sense of power or control. They'll call you names, they'll insult you, often, well, not often, always unprovoked. Because unless, I'm not even gonna go there, but often unprovoked, right? And this behavior, what it truly reveals is that there is an inferior complex that they walk with, right? Because when you, as a divine feminine, move with a sense of clarity and self worth, right? These are things that intimidate an insecure man. And when an insecure man feels that he cannot dominate or control the situation, he defaults to insults to level the playing field in his mind, only in his mind. But we know what that really does. We know what that truly reveals, right? Because there's no way that as an adult, your innate reaction to anything should be insulting. Certainly not as a man. Okay. Um, but those are things that often reveal that there are unresolved wounds when it comes to women. The anger that he aims at you, which is often unprovoked, is just way too big for this to just be about you. That reveals that that man is carrying pain from a past relationship, or even from his childhood, even from the way he was raised. And this is the thing that I want to emphasize when it comes to that, right? For us divine feminine beings, because often we are nurturers, and we when we love hard, and the people who we love, their pain becomes our pain. But what I have had to learn, y'all, is that a part of me setting standards for myself is understanding it is not my job or my responsibility to fix people's wounds or to fix their past or their issues. If we are coming into agreement to be in relationship, that means that we have done some groundwork to fix and prepare ourselves to be in union. So if that is not the case and you are still dealing with, unhealed wounds, which, a lot of us are, but it's just that those wounds are still so raw and so real that you spill your toxicity all over people. It's not my responsibility to fix that, boo. It's not. And I hope and I do pray that as, divine feminine women, that we understand why it's not our responsibility and we honor ourselves in that way to not take on the burden of the responsibility. But it does explain sometimes why, these people may move in that way. So I have understanding for why you're moving in that way. Yeah, you may have unhealed issues, but at the same time, it's not for me to fix it. It's not for me to fix it. Another thing that I definitely encourage us to remember is that these type of beings, these insecure, beings, will often make you question your standards or question if you are acting out of righteousness and having your standards established, because usually they want access but no effort. They want the fruits, but they don't want the labor. So they'll often play mind games or play, emotional games with you where you almost start to question your own standards or your own, the way how you stand on, your business. Because the thing is that they sense your value. They sense your value. You don't know that, but they do sense your value. But they want it or they want access to it on their terms, which usually means inconsistency or being an option, right? And when you don't conform, they get mean or they get downright wicked. And that's honestly the kind of manipulation that's often common in people who confuse possession with love. And you have to understand that, right? And I feel like we've been conditioned to think that that is love, and that is not. It's not. All right, y'all. So I just wanted to come and share that. And in closing, when these men or these people, because this really applies to more than just men, just people who are toxic and people who tend to be insecure, but I'm speaking specifically again to the fellas in this perspective because of what I experienced this weekend. When people cannot be on your level, they will rarely try to do the work or challenge themselves to come up to your level. What they will likely do is try to drag, pull you down, claw you down to their level. So it's important to understand that it's not you. It's not you. And I feel like this is an important thing to share because again, when we are dealing with some of the things we're dealing with right now in this world, y'all, people are going through it. So there's already like a fragility there, right? Of the mental. There's already a fragility there of the emotions. So to have someone just come and like vomit venomous, unnecessary anger and insults your way just because it literally is Lyle. And if you are not sitting in your power and you don't operate from a higher understanding, it can break you. It can break you. And so I decided to come and share this because that attack came to me this weekend, unprovoked, unwarranted, from an angle or a person who I don't even have any kind of connection with. I don't even have any kind of dealings with. But they came and they spewed my way. And I just had to stand back like, wait a minute, like, what's up with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is really up with this? And for me, I'm always going to take the angle of what is this moment trying to teach me, and how can I gain a perspective from this. And it's like, okay, this is teaching you, Shantae, that you have to really affirm your boundaries. This person really should have never even had access to you anymore. This person really should have never been able to even have direct connection to you because of the past and the things that they have already shown you. Those boundaries should have been in place and they should have been firm. So now you have to deal with that, girl. You have to deal with affirming your boundaries, right? But for those who are beating themselves up or who may have experienced that, and now the result is that you're beating yourself up, you're thinking that there's something wrong with you, especially if you are truly trying to walk in integrity, in character, in love for yourself, rebuilding, healing, doing the work, girl, it ain't you, baby. It ain't you. And just know that and continue to love and pour into yourself. No good deed goes unseen. Okay? And everything balances out in time. Don't seek revenge. Don't seek, just allow. That's what I'll say. But I wanted to just leave you guys with this release letter because one of the things that I feel like I have to become better at is releasing and not holding on to pieces of a situation or pieces of a person or pieces of their energy because I'm used to it or because it's comfortable or because, releasing completely, learning how to close doors, close chapters 100%. And so I wanted to share this letter with you guys. It's a release letter, and I feel like if this is something that you can turn to just kind of recite, even if it's, once a day or however often, it definitely helps to kind of put you in that mindset of, okay, let me release, let me continue in this state of moving forward and releasing this insidious energy from my life. Okay, I'll also post it here on the screen if you want to read along. At least I think I will. But let me start. You guys might hear my pages because I'm reading from my book, my notes. Okay, so I release you. I release the pain, the confusion, the disrespect, and the projection you tried to place on me. I release the version of you I thought I saw, and I accept the truth of who you've shown yourself to be. You came into my life for a reason, perhaps to show me where I still needed to set boundaries, to speak up, to stand in my truth. For the lesson, I thank you. But I do not carry your anger. I do not carry your insults. I do not carry your inability to love or respect me. That is your burden to carry, not mine. I forgive myself for any part of me that tolerated, entertained, or tried to make sense of your chaos. And I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. I call my energy back to me. I reclaim my power. I walk forward, free, clear, loved, and protected. And as I release you, I send you healing from afar. But I want nothing more to do with your energy. Goodbye. With strength and sovereignty, and as your name. All right, y'all. I hope that is something that can carry you into a state of peace, balance, and love. And as always, I want to wish you all divine wellness. Bye.